Well, happy Friday, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. Looking forward to that weekend and have something special planned. I had a big weekend last weekend, so I don't have anything special. I'm just going to work in my bedroom that's been long overdue. Needs some of my undivided attention. What kind of week have you had? Was it good, productive, so-so? It's been interesting. It's been an interesting week. You know, last night, somebody sent me this 20-foot cloud man that looked so real. I'm sure it was AI. And he kind of looked like a demon, or he kind of looked like an angel who was kind of ticked off, but he was huge and it just looks so real. So AI has gotten really good. Those of you that stop by and talk to me from time to time, thank you so much. And if you know anybody else that would like to be in our little club, tell them to come on over and subscribe and comment, and that we have a little fun over here. I don't have much news because everything is political. And I tell you, the politics and whatever is so, I don't know. I in my lifetime, I would have never, ever dreamed that this country would be so divided as it is right now. It breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart. And I spent a lot of time with this woman in the 80s, and her name was Barbara Blevins. And she was white. She had 4 children, and I had 5. But hers were little kids. I had teenagers. And we used to sit out. I mean, we spent hours and hours and hours together. And we had so much fun. We laughed, We talked, I thought we talked about everything. I don't know who was the president at the time, but I think we said, I either like him or I don't, and we went on with our conversation. And so I wrote to her the other day. I saw her on Facebook, and I said, Barbara, I said, how did you and I get along? I mean, she was probably 20 years younger than me, And she said, she said, you taught me a lot of things. And she said, I was overwhelmed with being a mother, having being a young mother, having 4 kids, having a husband, living in military quarters. You have certain rules that you have to adhere to. She says, and some of the teenage jargon that you told me about, she said, I didn't even know that it existed. And we used to sit, I had a telescope, so we used to sit and watch, the sky all the time. And we didn't realize at the time they were launching a lot of satellites, even in the 80s, And we'd be wondering, what is that? And we would call the local military airport and ask them, or the weather guys, whatever they were, they saw everything, what were the things in the sky? And they'd make fun of us. It'd be about 10 o'clock at night, and we had some wine. And I'd say, well, what do you see in the sky? And then I asked one, I said, can I take a picture of a rainbow? Because, back in the old days, with a camera, you couldn't really take a picture of a rainbow. You didn't get all the prisms or whatever it is, you couldn't get all that color and stuff. The cameras weren't sophisticated enough to take pictures of real good looking pictures of a rainbow. And so they asked me, do you see a rainbow now? And it was like 11 o'clock at night. No, I don't see a rainbow. And don't send the MPs because we're in our yard and we're not hurting anybody. So those are the kind of things that Barbara and I did. But we spent a lot of time together, and when I think I ended up moving off post, and we were still in the same town, but we kind of lost touch with each other. I mean, she was older and working, had a job, and but like I said to her, I said, I mean, we just spent so much time together, and our politics and our race, we had so many other things in common that those things they didn't matter and they didn't come up. And I think she would have done anything for me at the time, and I would have done anything for her. And I miss those times in our country. It shouldn't be like this. That's all I know. It shouldn't be like this. And to me, because I do believe that this thing that they say is a comet is not a comet, we might need the whole world to fight this if it isn't a comet, We might need to band together. And do we trust each other enough? I mean, would you really want to fight for a country or a world that's not yours, and you can be marched or I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Did you see that Brad Pitt's getting married again? He's engaged, and I think he's been going out with this lady for 2 years. And we say in the black community, when somebody looks like you, we'll say in the same tribe. He's got somebody that looks like somebody in the same tribe as he had. Well, she looks like her and Angelina could have been in the same tribe. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And Keith Urban, oh my God, I've always thought he was just delicious. I mean, so cute. And now him and Nicole are getting a divorce. And I think it's because of the new girl that he's kind of helped discovered and have her touring with him. And, that's sad because they've been together a while. And about my birthday party, I want to tell you about that. First of all, we did wear the caftans, and some people got mixed up with caftans and muumuus. Muumuus were from Hawaii, and they mostly just went around your neck. I mean, and then they just hung down. And they usually have a lot of flowers and whatever, it's just a muumuu. But a caftan can be dressy, it can be casual, and I think the caftan is from the Middle East. And when they wear them and they're going to something that is, their culture, those caftans are gorgeous. They're beautiful. But anyway, my party was a success. And I told you that part of it, I didn't really want a party this year because I just kind of felt that I had a big 80th. And I didn't think you should have one every year. Although my daughter says, Mom, if you live to be 80, I think you're entitled to one every year. But that's not why we had this party. She has a foundation, and they do something for women, Women's Month or whatever, and I think it's March. And so she wanted to see if people would really do the caftans. So she says, well, I'll do a trial run. I'll say it's your birthday and that you have to wear a caftan, and let's see if the people participate. And they did, overwhelmingly, and they loved it. I heard things like, usually when I go to parties, I have on 3 Spanx, or I'm uncomfortable because I'm trying to look a certain way and everything. They were like, I'm so comfortable and feel so relaxed in these. And then some of the young women, well, they're not young, but to me, you know, anything under 70 is young. But anyway, some of them said they were going to get some caftans to wear because really, you can wear them out of the house. You know, you have on some nice sandals, your earring, maybe throw on a necklace, your watch, you know, and everybody wears some kind of bracelet. And you can go to the store. You can go pick your kids up from school. Caftans are the way. I have a bunch of them, but it's time for me to buy some more because I wear them all the time. And I don't know what I've shown you and what I haven't shown you. So if I show you something I've already shown you, please just overlook. Just say, oh, she's just old and can't remember stuff. But this was one I had gotten that I was going to wear there. And then I ended up, whatever I had put on to ride over to her house in, when I got there, I was so relaxed. I said, you know what? I'll just leave this one on. But isn't that pretty? And I got that from Temu. And I think it was maybe $10 or less. But isn't that gorgeous? I really like that. So I got that one. That's a new one. And I got this one from Temu, and it feels like it's cotton, but it's not. It's polyester. But let me get it. I really like the colors. Isn't that pretty? I want to show you the bottom of it. And I think that would even look great at Christmas. So I love this one. I love it. So I got all this I got from Temu. Now, this was a day late. And I really thought when I ordered it, because everything I had been ordering lately has been coming from a warehouse. I thought it would come from a warehouse, but I think it actually came from China. So, and I ordered this. It's a skirt. And it's for the winter. You know, it doesn't get real cold down here. But I would wear, I know you guys are going to say she's crazy. I would wear a slip with this to begin with. And I have a sweater that's not really a red, but my sweater is more like orangey whatever. And I think even a white sweater with this. And this came from Temu. And it has a different like hem, you know, it goes up on one side and it's longer on the other side. But I love the print and it wasn't expensive. And I really think, you know, the more I look at it, I think I'm just going to get a white sweater or a white, isn't that print pretty though? And you know, I don't remember the prices, but none of this stuff was over, it wasn't over $10. But I do need to purge, I haven't done it, I need to purge my, my closet. And I don't know if I showed you this the other day, but you know how Temu, they have certain things and they advertise it, you know, and you see it all the time? Well, this was something I saw all the time. And I really liked it because I like the print. And I like the color green. So I went on and ordered it. I think I may have even gotten this for a penny. You know how you you spin the wheel or something, and then they'll tell you can get 3 items for a penny. But I really like that. And I do a lot of black pants, so this would go great. Now, here's my biggie. For the party, I thought I had to have like a super nice, because it was my birthday, I thought I should have a super nice caftan. So I saw this thing on Facebook, and I think it's called Black Beads, I think. And they have just beautiful, beautiful clothes. It's kind of pricey, but I think if it's a special occasion, and right now they're having a huge sale where everything is, you know, about half price. But anyway, I ordered this caftan, and I hate to hold it up because it's black and it's just gonna look like a big square. So this is a caftan, and it kind of has wing or bat sleeves. And then down at the bottom, it stops at your knees where you have this fringe where you'll be able to see your legs. I don't know how that's gonna go with my little fat legs. I might have to get me a pair of pants to wear under it or something. But I love it. And for the holidays, it would be great. It's really heavy. It's beautiful and it's well made. And I will tell you that it did cost me $89, and it didn't get here in time for the party, which I'm glad it didn't, because I think it would have been too hot. And this was a 2XL. And for the record, it took about 8 days for this to come. So, and it's called Black Beads. I think it's Black Beads. And I should have gotten one size fits all, because it really does look like this is going to be too big. We'll see. I sure hope not. But it's very, very pretty. Very pretty. Very heavy. And I don't have anything else to talk to you about. I was thinking about my ex-boss the other day, and I was thinking about him on the phone. He used to tell Pat stories, you know. He'd always go to his Chamber of Commerce meetings, and they would say, "Tell us another Pat story," you know, and people would see me and they'd say, "You know, Dolph told us the Pat story last," when I'd go, "What was the Pat story last?" Something stupid that I had done, but anyway, and I don't know if I told you this, but he was on the phone one day, and he was talking to a banker that was out of our town, and he was trying to get some money he had already put in his new subdivision, but to build houses. And I think the cap was $1 million at the time, and that's what he was asking for, was $1 million, right? And so he was at his desk, you know, on one side, and I came into the room. I don't know why I came into the room. I don't know if I brought paperwork or what, but anyway, I came into the room, and he had one of those little stools like what the doctors sit on, that little round stool, and it didn't have any arms or anything on it, you know. And so as he was on the phone, I sat on the stool. And when I sat on the stool went one way and I went another way. Well, he's trying to sound like, you know, he's a person that you would hand over $1 million to, but also he's trying really hard not to laugh. And the funny thing about it, like I said, the chair went one way, the wheels were still spinning, and I went the opposite way. And then I was trying to pull myself up on the desk, and like his desk calendar and everything, I was pulling it off, and stuff was starting to fall on the floor. And this man was, and finally he just said, "I'm sorry." He said, "My secretary just just fell. She's pulling everything off the desk." He said, and I have to laugh. And even the banker was laughing on the phone. He said, "I can just picture this, you know." And so when he got off the phone, he says, "God dang it," he said, "I don't even know if we're gonna get the money or not." He said, "Why did you have to come in that time, and why did you fall off the chair?" But at the same time, he was just laughing so hard. So I don't know. And then I have some stories about him too. So we'll get to those one day. But that's a Pat story. So tell me what y'all have been doing, and I hope nobody's depressed, you know, about our situations, and everything's gonna work out. Hopefully, I think everything's gonna work out. And I'm still decorating. I just can do so much. And my daughter, I try to get her to help me, but she doesn't like to help me because as soon as she does something, I'll say, "Oh, that's not quite what I wanted," you know. So she kind of leaves it up to me. So I'm not going to keep y'all. That's all I got today. And I look forward. Oh, and I did put up a reel from my party, or a short. So if you get a chance, take a look at it. And you'll even see me trying to dance. I was doing chair dance. I wasn't up trying to dance, but I did my chair dance. Anyway, it's been good talking to you. Hope to see you in a couple of days. Comment, give me a thumbs up. Tell me what you've been doing, what you want to do. And I will see you later. Bye.